One quiet morning, a little boy named Eli sat thoughtfully on the edge of his bed. The golden sunbeams streamed through his window, painting warm stripes across the floor. Outside, cheerful birds chirped their morning songs, promising a bright and happy day. Yet, despite the lovely morning, Eli felt a strange heaviness deep inside his heart. Today was a special day at school, a day that filled him with both excitement and dread. Show and tell. Eli had carefully chosen his most prized possession, a magnificent toy dinosaur, to share with his class. He usually adored dinosaurs, able to recount facts and stories about them for what felt like hours. But this morning, a peculiar, twisty feeling churned uncomfortably in his stomach. What if I forget all the cool facts I want to say about my dinosaur? Eli worried silently. What if everyone in the class giggles or even laughs at me when I speak? The more these anxious thoughts swirled in his mind, the larger and more overwhelming his worry became. It manifested as a tiny, persistent, buzzing cloud fluttering restlessly within his chest. At the breakfast table, Eli listlessly pushed his colorful cereal around the bowl with his spoon. His mom, ever observant, gently noticed his quiet demeanor and the untouched breakfast. "Is there something special on your mind this morning, sweetie?" she asked softly, her voice full of care. Eli let out a small, shaky sigh, finally admitting, "I feel really nervous about show and tell today." Mum offered a warm, understanding smile, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Worries can certainly feel incredibly big and overwhelming sometimes," she acknowledged. "But you know, sometimes those worries are just like tiny, unassuming caterpillars." "Caterpillars?" Eli repeated, his brow furrowing slightly in confusion at the comparison. "Yes," Mum affirmed, nodding gently. "They start off so small and seem ordinary, but when we nurture them with patience and care, they can transform into something truly beautiful." Eli pondered her words, a new thought beginning to unfurl in his mind. Later that morning, as the school bell rang, Eli found himself in his classroom. His teacher, Miss Lily, clapped her hands together cheerfully and announced, "It's time for our exciting show and tell." One by one, his classmates eagerly rose to their feet, proudly sharing their cherished items. As each student presented, Eli's heart began to beat a little faster, a rhythmic thump, thump. He noticed his hands felt slightly clammy and a little shaky, a clear sign of his growing anxiety. His worry caterpillar, which had quieted for a bit, started its insistent buzzing again inside him. Then, a comforting memory surfaced. Something important his mum had shared with him before school. She had said, "When worries start to grow bigger and feel overwhelming, try to remember 3 simple things. First, take a slow, deep breath. Second, think a brave and positive thought. And third, take just one small step forward, no matter how tiny it feels." So, Eli consciously took a long, slow, deep breath, feeling his chest expand and then gently release. He repeated the calming mantra to himself, in and out, "I can do this." He then summoned a brave thought, reminding himself of all the dinosaur facts he knew. When Miss Lily finally called his name, "Eli, it's your turn," he slowly pushed himself up from his seat. He clutched his beloved toy dinosaur tightly in his hands, finding a small comfort in its familiar shape. At first, His voice was barely a whisper, soft and hesitant as he began, This is my dinosaur. But then a truly remarkable and encouraging thing started to happen right before his eyes. He saw his classmates leaning forward, their expressions shifting from polite to genuinely interested. Their eyes were wide and attentive, listening carefully to every word he uttered. Some of the children even leaned closer, their faces alight with curious and encouraging smiles. From the back of the room, he heard a hushed, admiring whisper, "Wow, cool dinosaur." With each positive reaction, Eli felt a warm surge of confidence begin to blossom within him. His voice grew stronger, clearer, and more assured with every sentence he spoke. Soon, he was confidently explaining how these magnificent creatures lived millions of years ago on Earth. He proudly detailed how his specific toy was a fearsome Tyrannosaurus Rex, a king among dinosaurs. He even shared a fun fact about its powerful jaws and tiny arms, making some classmates giggle. When he finally finished his presentation, the entire class erupted in enthusiastic applause. "Absolutely wonderful job, Eli!" Miss Lily exclaimed, her voice filled with genuine pride. Eli returned to his seat, a wide, triumphant smile spreading across his face, feeling lighter than air. Inside his chest, the annoying, buzzing worry caterpillar had completely vanished without a trace. Instead of heaviness, he felt an incredible lightness and a profound sense of calm. It was as if his worry had transformed, just like his mum had said, into something beautiful. It felt exactly like a graceful butterfly, soaring freely and joyfully within his heart. That memorable day, Eli learned a truly invaluable and lasting lesson about himself. Worries might initially feel enormous and daunting, casting long shadows over our spirits. But with a little courage, a few calming breaths, and a strong belief in your own abilities, they can change. They can beautifully transform into confidence, reminding us that sometimes the bravest act is simply taking that very first step.